For the longest time, animes have been plagued with a disease. A disease that bypasses every barrier of protection and eventually reaching our favorite and beloved shows. This disease infects mostly romance tropes or romance plots in general. The second lead syndrome. Second lead disease. Wait, are they even the same thing? There's nothing more upsetting than watching your favorite character get the short end of the stick. We start to root for someone. They end up growing on us and seeing how far they've come, only to lose to the main love interest. So much development, so much back and forth, so many cute interactions, but they just weren't destined to win. Whether it's the short haired girl, the childhood friend, or even both, we gravitate towards the character that we are the most interested in, and hopefully, by the end of the series, they get to be with the person they desire. Unfortunately, in romance animes, someone is always fated to lose. I think all of the characters I'll be talking about have one thing in common. They're just destined to lose by the narrative. Examples being Yui from Origairu, Emma from Sign of Affection, and Koga from Bunny Girl Senpai, just to name a few. They're all shown after the main love interest has already been established, and it's implied that they're probably gonna lose. Also, why are they voiced by the same voice actors? What the fuck? These girls are all caring, kind to a fault, and interact a lot with the MC. Except Emma, I guess, unless you consider that interacting. Though I like her main ship now, I think that's really cute. Though for now, I'll put my focus more on Yui, because that's the most recent thing I've watched out of the three. I like to argue that Yui spends the most time with the main character out of the three that I mentioned, and obviously there's no competition for that. We get to see their relationship grow with the amount of times they interact, and in comparison to the other shows, they don't have any bonds that tie them together other than the accident, which is a quote unquote bond that unironically worsened Yui and Hachiman's relationship for a bit. So you get to really see them slowly soften up and start to care for each other. It's funny because at the start, Hachiman was literally calling her a bitch multiple times. Like, you can see, like, he says it over and over. Like, he doesn't even care. There's actual growth between the two, and even when you know she'll fall in love with Hachiman, it doesn't come off as forced at all. Which makes it all the more depressing when you know she will most definitely not end up in first place. You see how much this relationship has affected the both of them. You see Yui slowly realizing that he likes Hachiman, or better yet, you see Yui finally stop running away from her feelings and admit that she has liked Hachiman all this time. But Hachiman never sees her like that, and the way he says it, by the way, is so heartbreaking.
けど、お前はそれを待たなくていい。
Similar with Yui, Hachiman takes his time and admits to himself that the world would just be too bleak without Yukino in his life. Everyone in the trio knew how it would end. Everyone tried to abstain for the inevitable. But that wouldn't be so genuine now, would it? My favorite type of second place finishers are the ones that get a nice and heartfelt conclusion long before the show ends. What I like about it so much is how we see these characters grow in the background and how they approach the main love interest long after they've already given up or rejected. Examples are Tsubasa from His and Her Circumstances, Mocha from Scum's Wish, and Sakura from Horimiya, just to name a few. Okay, I understand that like most of these characters were depicted as brats who feel very entitled to the main character, but honestly, it's kind of the point. Both Tsubasa and Mocha had an early connection with the main love interest and feel as if they are the closest to them. They think that they are most probably the one person that has the most attachments to them. They feel like they deserve to win, to earn the Prince Charming's affection, because no one else knows them as much as I do. Personally, my favorite among the three is definitely Mocha. The way Mocha grows from someone who validates their entire self-worth to her childhood friend into accepting the truth and learns to love herself no matter what anyone else may think, it was just so nice to see from her character. She used to dedicate herself to a faraway prince that may never appear. She grew out her hair, only started getting into cute things, and treated herself like a princess. Even after she gets rejected, she still treats herself like one. But the intentions aren't the same anymore. Now she does that all for herself, because she loves who she is, and no one can tell her otherwise. Even in the epilogue of the manga, she's still single, and that's fine. She can wait. But until then, everything is for her and her only. Mocha is probably the most sane person among the cast of Scum's Wish, and I wish more people watched it despite its uh, weird reputation. Although I didn't talk about Sakura and Tsubasa all that much, They all share the same conclusion and they all happily coexist with the main cast of their respective shows. Tsubasa not only gets close with her rival Yukino, yes, a different Yukino, she also meets someone that she can share a bond with. Sakura shares a bit of the same sentiment as Malka, but Sakura instead learns to coexist with Toru and the friend group. These girls all start to see their own self-worth as the anime goes on, and it shows a good point of view on how to take rejections well. But what about the animes that don't give these characters a good resolution? With every one good ending always comes 10 bad ones, and holy shit, do I want to talk about the bad ones. Although, I mostly want to talk about one character in particular. A character that almost drive me into complete madness because of how terribly she was treated throughout the entire show. A character that got dumpstered from start to finish. It's Linda. It's fucking Linda. Linda thinks that she doesn't deserve anything from Banri, which is why she doesn't do anything with her feelings. There are so many moments in the show where Linda had a chance to do something, but outright refuses because of what she did in the past, or I guess what she didn't do. Her feelings of remorse and regret is what ultimately makes her do absolutely nothing about her feelings. She also says something mean to Banri behind his back during high school, but like, dude, you can't be you cannot be serious. Like, come on, man. That was literally in high school, and everyone was too fucking pussy to say anything truthful. So of course she says that. My favorite moment between Linda and Banri was the bar scene, where they got completely lost in the moment and almost did something they shouldn't have. The tension was high up until that point, but nothing really major happens between the both of them. It seemed like some freaky shit was about to go down, but obviously no, because Coco, the main girl of the story, was getting paranoid and managed to find where Banri was working. Setting aside everything else for now, that particular scene stuck with me for some reason. You can tell there's a lot of unsaid feelings between them, and both the audience and Linda knows that if she wanted to say something, it should be right now. But obviously they get interrupted and they go absolutely fucking nowhere because, Coco, the main girl of the story, by the way, was getting upset. God damn it. Even when she tried to distance herself, he keeps coming back to her one way or another. Linda just can't catch a break, and these feelings of hers keep getting eaten away. And the more she keeps it to herself, the more her heart gets devoured by her desires. It is so heavily implied that Linda still likes Banri all this time. It is so obvious that Linda still wants to be with Banri, and when his memories before he got amnesia returned, him and Linda start hanging out again like they used to. While Linda still hasn't really confessed to Banri, the relationship they were having was already more than enough for her. This is all she ever wanted from him. To be what they were like before all hell broke loose. Is something like that so hard to ask for?
Yes.
Because Linda is the girl doomed from the narrative, Banri's memories return because, well, duh, of course it would. And obviously that means that he would chase after Coco. But before that, he finally sees his own ghost that was watching him the entire time. Linda also started chasing Banri, and could also miraculously see his ghost as well. Okay. And Linda, after all this time, finally answers him. Or I guess his ghost, and says, "Yes, I love you, Banri." After years of holding it in, after years of self-deceit and fake acceptance, she finally confesses to Banri. But remember when she said yes? Yeah, she also says yes to every one of you. Yes to every decision Banri has made. And Linda says yes to your love to Coco as well. She runs in the opposite direction, and Linda's feelings have come to a close. Personally, I didn't mind how weird they handled Linda's conclusion here. The show reminded us time and time again that it will not be Linda. She will not be the girl that wins. She's just not the one. When I finished that part, I wasn't necessarily upset, but I wasn't really satisfied with how they concluded her arc either. With everything that's happened so far, when you could finally be the person you've been waiting years for, they just close her out with a yes, a thumbs up, and a setup for Banri to go to Coco. Okay, I get it. She's not the main love interest. And I've been saying she was doomed from the start. But surely she couldn't have just brushed it off like that, right? At this point, I was like, okay, while Linda has been beaten down multiple times already, at the very least, she confessed. And that she is fine with never being Banri's first choice. Even with how poorly Linda has been treated throughout the entire show, I can at least accept that. And when the credits of the last episode started playing, I just wanted to watch it because the show's over and I want to see how everyone's doing after all that's happened. It looked great. It looked like the show is giving all the characters the happily ever after they've all wanted. Until they showed Linda. I assumed that if they were gonna show Linda, she was probably gonna be at the very end at some point. And I was right. But. But what? I understand that they're not the main couple, but you can't be serious, right? Near the end of the credits, Linda and Mitsuo caught eyes, and Linda started blushing? It hasn't even been that long, right? And all of a sudden you make them an implied soon to be couple? With how Linda's been treated ever since the start, you think that she couldn't have had it any worse, right? You know what the author should have done to the both of them? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They could have been their own people and they shouldn't have anything to do with each other. It was never even implied. There were never any hints throughout the entire show. Absolutely fucking nothing. And yet, apparently they fall in love with each other. I hated this so much. What a way to ruin the character all with 3 seconds of remaining screen time. Screen time that shouldn't have even mattered anymore. They shouldn't have done anything. They should have kept Linda at that. But no, because she's not the main heroine, then it doesn't matter, right? Well, it matters to me, and I think that's very important. I think I first watched this last year, and I don't think I've hated a character's ending this much until I watched Golden Time. With the other characters I've discussed, they all get an ending that helps them grow. Linda fucking shrank. I understand they wanted to say, like, wow, guys, I'm moving on, look. To show you that I moved on, I will like some other fucking guy I have no chemistry with and a relationship that was never foreshadowed or implied. I just randomly like this guy now, so hey, I've changed, guys. Yeah, fuck you. I hate you, Golden Time, for making Linda such a good character, because now I have to carry all this pain with me. She will never receive a good ending, and she will always be second place.